Okay, it's a quick video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. So you can probably hear birds tweeting outside. I've got the door open. It is a blistering hot day and I'm melting in my car. So today's video, I'm 48. I know you might find that hard to believe. And here is what I tell my 28-year-old self about money. So if I could go back 20 years, I wouldn't tell myself to hustle harder. I wouldn't tell myself to work harder. God knows. I'd say this instead. So I'd advise myself to start saving early. So the power of compound interest and the benefits of early investment, it's not a mystery. It's something that we all now know about, but perhaps didn't back then because it was hidden from us. It's simply not something that's explained at school. Unless you've got parents or grandparents that are in the generational wealth gang, you're never going to get told this. But compound interest is real. And yeah, I wish I'd taken advantage of it a lot sooner. So number two would be to avoid lifestyle inflation. And this, I think, is the toughest one for anybody because, let's face it, your income goes up, you get a pay rise, suddenly you want that bigger TV, you want that flashier car, you want the the spoils of war. You want, you've earned it. You've earned the extra pay rise, you've earned that shiny new car and all the rest of it. But let's face it, maintaining modest living expenses despite income increases is another great way to free up additional income for either saving or investing or whatever it might be. And God knows my 28-year-old self could have done with hearing that. An emergency fund, massively important. And I'm, being 48, I never actually had this until I was about 42, 43 years old when I woke up to most of this. Emergency funds are essential. I mean, let's face it, in this fragile, and it is a fragile economy, I don't believe that any of us are in an ivory tower. I don't believe that any jobs are truly safe. Even if you own your own company, trust me, that can be taken away from you at a moment's notice. All it takes is one bad decision, one big tax bill, and it's gone. And that's the reality. Many people, most people, and the Office of National Statistics have surveyed this only last year. Most people don't even have £1,000 in their bank, which means most people in the UK can't live or pay for their living of 2 weeks, which would be just less than the average income. They can't live for 2 weeks, or more than 2 weeks, if you like, should the worst happen. So if you lose your job, at best, you've got 2 weeks, and then you're really in the shtuck. So an emergency fund is essential. Now, myself, I don't think there's any point. There is like an upward limit to this. I think as an emergency fund, realistically, you want 3 to 6 months of your annual income. Now, it might seem like a stretch for some people. I mean, based on the median UK income, that could be anywhere from £6,000 or £7,000 right up to about 8, 9, 10,000. But either way, that is a safety net. That's a real cushion. Should you lose your job, you've got 6 months-ish grace to get your act together, skill up, level up, get yourself out there and find a new job. And then, of course, wait a month to get paid. The emergency fund contingency is really important. And it's important also just for unexpected expenses. Let's just say that you have a boiler break, which I actually had myself about 2 years back or 18 months back. My boiler broke. Luckily, I did have an emergency fund and I had to pay an eye-watering £2,800 for a new boiler. But because I had the fund, that boiler was fitted, I think, within 48 hours. And it really saved my bacon. It was actually over winter as well, which made it even worse and also more of an emergency. I could never have done that without an emergency fund. I would have bought one on credit and therefore been liable for interest and stupid APR payments and all the rest of it. So it afforded me the luxury of getting what I needed without having to pay huge amounts of interest or taking out a loan, which is more ideal. Another thing, point number 4, and this is a big one, debt management. Strategies for avoiding and also managing personal debt. Pay off that debt that's got the ridiculous interest first. Don't take on debt that's got ridiculous interest attached to it. Just because you want something shiny and new like a car, it might come with 15, 20% APR on there. You don't need to be paying that. Do you really need that new car? Do you really need it? Will it improve your life? Will it make you more money? If the answer to that is yeah, crack on, take on that debt. If the answer to that is don't know or no or nah, it's probably not worth it. You should probably check yourself at the door and cancel that purchase. And the 5th and most important one, and this is one that I'm angry, quite frankly, that I was never taught at school, and I can't blame my parents because they didn't know either. Financial education. I didn't really make a conscious effort to try and properly financially educate myself until I was about 42. Up until then, I was kind of going through life, just putting money in high street banks and everything else. By that time, I had bought a little bit of crypto and I'd sold a little bit of crypto. I'd owned a business and it had fallen apart and I folded it and all the rest of it. So I'd kind of been around the financial track. But a proper financial education could have saved a lot of expense, a lot of heartbreak, and set me up in a much better position now. And whether that means financial education, like learning about and taking advantage of compound interest, learning about debt management, learning about how to avoid tax, not paying it, not evading it, but tax avoidance. Things like overpaying into a pension because obviously you're not paying tax on that. Things like ISAs and such. I mean, all of this would have massively have helped me, and it could have put me in a much, much different financial position right now. But that continuous learning about personal finance, about investment options, that is massive. I've made a point of teaching my kids this, and I think it's something that every parent, especially in this day and age, with the economic uncertainty that we've got, should teach their children. I've been trying to level up my partner. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. It is what it is. But there you go. So what's your experience of this? What advice would you give to your 28-year-old self? If you're 28, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Really interested to find out, if you had a time machine, how would it play out? Would your future, would your now look any different based on your then? But yeah, there you go. So look, YouTube's going to put another video there. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe. It all helps me make videos. And there'll be another one tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.